Okay, let's try and unpack this a bit. Ever find yourself like right in the middle of a really critical security audit?
Oh, yeah. Definitely been there.
And the auditor, they turn around and ask for proof, proof of every single privileged action taken
hmm
over, say, the last 6 months, like who accessed what, when they did it, and why.
Yeah, that's the moment, isn't it? That sinking feeling.
Exactly. Your stomach just drops. It's that kind of, well, nightmare scenario that honestly a lot of organizations face. They're struggling trying to piece together a coherent picture from all these, separate logs.
It's a very, very real challenge. And that's precisely why we're doing this deep dive today. We're looking into the auditing and reporting capabilities of Delinea Secret Server.
Right, specifically in the context of privilege access management, or PAM.
Exactly, PAM.
Hmm.
And our mission, really, for you listening, is to show you not just what these features are, but how they act as a pretty vital shield.
A shield for securing sensitive data?
That and also fulfilling those really critical regulatory requirements.
Okay. And we should mention, we're pulling these insights straight from the source material excerpts from Delinea Secret Server Compliance.pdf. Our goal for you is, well, pretty simple, to arm you with the key knowledge, to help you understand why these capabilities aren't just some nice-to-have feature.
hmm
They're an absolute necessity, really, for keeping your digital kingdom secure and, maybe just as importantly, keeping those compliance headaches away.
Absolutely. And what's really foundational here, I think, is how Delinea Secret Server actually builds this ironclad historical record. It does that through its detailed audit logs.
Ironclad. Okay.
Yeah, and this isn't just, collecting data randomly. It's about crafting this unimpeachable, really comprehensive timeline.
A timeline. Right.
Every single action that relates to privileged access, we're talking logins, credential use, password changes.
Even subtle things.
Oh, yeah. Even subtle modifications to the secrets themselves or maybe changes to the vault settings. It's all logged.
Wow.
Yeah.
That level of forensic detail, I mean, that sounds completely indispensable for anyone who's facing an audit.
It is.
But, okay, beyond just having the raw logs, which is one thing, how does Delinea actually transform that, well, mountain of data into something an auditor can use, quickly and efficiently?
Mm.
Because, let's be honest, the cost of a really long audit, or even worse, a failed one,
Yeah.
it can be absolutely staggering.
You've really hit on a crucial point there. Delinea moves way beyond just raw logs. It offers quite sophisticated, automated reporting.
Automated.
Yes, the source material highlights these pre-built reports that are explicitly designed to align with major compliance frameworks. Think GDPR, APA, SOX, PCI DSS.
For the big ones.
The big ones. And this means instead of auditors spending, weeks sifting through raw data,
Which sounds awful.
it is. Instead, they're presented with clear, concise insights. They can see who accessed which privileged accounts, when they did it, and for how long.
Okay, so it cuts down the time dramatically.
Yeah, exactly. It can reduce audit time from weeks down to potentially just days.
Right.
And that translates directly into significant cost savings. Plus, it helps prevent those potentially massive non-compliance fines.
Right. Okay. So it's really about making the data immediately actionable for that regulatory scrutiny. Makes sense. But let's maybe shift gears for a second. When we talk about privileged access, it often boils down to what individual users are doing, right?
Mhm.
So how does Delinea get really granular? How does it let an organization understand what a specific user is actually doing within these sensitive environments?
Yeah, that's where Delinea's user audit capabilities become incredibly powerful. It allows for really comprehensive tracking of individual user activities.
How so? Beyond just the logs.
Oh yeah, not just logs, but also through session recording and even real-time session monitoring.
Real time. Right.
Yeah, so administrators gain the ability to view these detailed records of what actions users are taking. That includes the exact commands they executed during a session.
The exact commands.
Every keystroke, potentially. This is absolutely critical if you're investigating suspicious behavior or maybe conducting a thorough post-incident analysis.
Session recording and playback. So you're saying you can literally replay what someone did step by step, almost like a security camera, but for your IT environment.
That's a great analogy, actually. Yes.
That offers an incredible level of oversight. But it does raise an important question, doesn't it? How do organizations balance this kind of deep monitoring with, concerns about user privacy and fostering a culture of trust within their IT teams?
That's a very valid consideration, and it comes up a lot. The key, really, is transparency and having clear policies.
Okay.
So while the capability exists, to capture keystrokes and commands, the implementation should always be governed by clear, well-communicated policies. Everyone needs to know what's being monitored and why.
So it's not about spying, it's about accountability.
Exactly. This granular oversight, while it's powerful for security and compliance, it actually enhances accountability. And when it's applied transparently, it can actually help build trust. It shows that privileged access is treated with the seriousness it deserves, which protects everyone involved.
Right.
And to complement that, Secret Server also offers really granular access reporting. These reports detail which users have accessed specific secrets or privileged accounts.
Okay.
And what's more, these reports are highly customizable. You can really focus them on particular users or specific time frames, or even drill down into different types of access events.
That customization sounds vital. So you're not just stuck with generic templates. You can literally tailor the reports to pinpoint exactly what you need to see for an investigation or an audit.
Precisely.
And it's not just on demand, right? I think the source also emphasizes scheduled and automated reports.
That's correct. Organizations can set up these reports to run regularly, automatically, on user activities, for instance.
So it just lands in someone's inbox.
Yeah, ensuring key stakeholders get timely updates on access patterns, maybe potential compliance risks, without anyone having to remember to manually pull the reports each time.
Takes the manual effort out of it.
Right. And yes, the customization goes even further. Users can create reports tailored to very specific compliance needs. You can focus on metrics like, say, failed login attempts or password age, maybe session duration. This kind of proactive reporting,
Yeah.
it's essentially creating a continuous self-generating audit trail.
That proactive element, yeah, that sounds like it really shifts security, moving it away from just reactive firefighting towards more strategic preventative measures.
Well put.
And speaking of strategy, how does Delinea make sure all this wealth of privileged access data integrates smoothly? How does it fit into an organization's wider security ecosystem?
Okay, that brings us to a really critical integration point. SIEM systems.
Yeah.
Security Information and Event Management.
SIEM, right.
Delinea's Secret Server integrates directly with SIEM platforms. This allows all those rich audit logs, all that user activity data, to be centralized right alongside other security data from across the network.
Okay, so that sounds like it provides a much bigger picture, doesn't it? Instead of information being stuck in silos,
Exactly.
you get this holistic view of security incidents. You can correlate the privileged access activity with, well, everything else happening on your network, firewall logs, endpoint data, you name it.
Precisely. Correlation is key.
But does this sheer amount of data ever become overwhelming for the security teams trying to make sense of it all?
It's a common challenge, yeah. With any robust logging system, there's always a risk of alert fatigue or just too much noise.
Right.
However, the SIEM integration isn't just about centralizing data. It also really helps in automating responses to potential threats and, crucially, filtering out that noise.
How does it filter?
Well, the same systems can be configured to trigger immediate alerts based on specific unusual behavior detected through those secret server logs. For instance, maybe an administrator logging in from a strange location, or someone trying to access a highly sensitive secret outside of normal business hours.
So it flags the anomalies.
Exactly. It flags the true anomalies. This lets security teams focus their attention where it's needed most, rather than getting bogged down sifting through endless streams of benign log entries.
Okay, that makes sense. So zooming back out a bit, it really seems like the bedrock, the foundation of Delinea's offering here is these truly detailed, immutable audit trails. The source confirms it captures pretty much everything. Viewing secrets, modifying them, deleting them, accessing specific privileged accounts, even changes to user permissions or roles. Every interaction is logged and time-stamped.
That level of granularity is absolutely what ensures you have a complete record, a record of who accessed what, when they did it, and ideally for what purpose.
It's fundamental. You need it to verify that your access policies are actually being followed, whether it's for internal checks or external audits. It creates that undeniable chain of custody for every single privileged action.
An undeniable chain of custody. I like that. And building on that foundation, we have the session monitoring and recording features, which you highlighted earlier.
Yes.
Capturing keystrokes, commands, any data access during a session.
Yeah.
Especially crucial for those highly privileged accounts, like root or administrator access,
Hmm.
which means security teams can literally go back and review the exact actions taken during a sensitive session.
And that replay capability is so critical, not just for compliance audits, but also for forensic analysis if, heaven forbid, a security incident does happen.
Right.
It helps pinpoint the exact moment of a potential breach or maybe misuse of privileges. This allows for really precise, almost surgical responses rather than broad, disruptive investigations that affect everyone.
Yeah, avoiding that wide net approach.
Mhm.
What I find particularly compelling, though, is the real-time activity monitoring aspect. Ah, yes, the live view.
Yeah, it means administrators can potentially see what users are doing as they're doing it. So if someone tries to access a restricted system or performs an unexpected action or maybe racks up multiple failed logins,
The system can flag it immediately.
generate an immediate alert. That feels like the ultimate proactive security measure, doesn't it?
It absolutely is. And those alerts are highly configurable, too. You can get them via email, SMS, or push directly into that SIEM integration we talked about.
Right, closing the loop.
Exactly. Real-time monitoring significantly helps in quickly identifying suspicious behavior. It allows for an immediate response to potentially harmful actions, which greatly reduces the risk of breaches before they can even fully materialize or cause significant damage.
Okay. And then to make sense of all this continuous data flow, those customized reports for user analysis come back into play, I suppose.
They do. They're essential for analysis. They can aggregate data over specific periods. They can highlight trends, like maybe unusual login times for a certain user group, or help identify users who are frequently accessing particularly sensitive information.
Patterns and outliers.
Precisely. These insights are vital for security teams trying to detect potential insider threats. Users who might be accessing data they shouldn't be, or maybe just recognizing areas where access policies might need to be reviewed and tightened up.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, these customized reports make it far easier for organizations to demonstrate compliance during those regulatory audits. They let you produce focused, specific data that directly aligns with what the auditors are asking for. It's really about turning that raw data into intelligent, actionable compliance evidence.
Okay. So wrapping us up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've really seen how these capabilities in Delinea Secret Server, they aren't just about ticking boxes for compliance audit.
Not at all.
They provide really deep visibility and robust control over privileged access. Everything from the detailed logs to the real-time alerts, session recordings, and those customizable reports we just discussed. It's about creating a fundamentally more secure and, importantly, auditable IT environment.
Yeah, and we connect this to the bigger picture. It's really about building a more proactive security posture,
Mm-hmm.
one that extends far beyond just meeting compliance mandates.
Right.
It truly empowers organizations. It gives you the tools to verify that your access policies are actually being followed day to day and to address potential threats before they escalate into major incidents. It's about transforming raw security data into genuinely actionable intelligence for comprehensive risk management.
That makes a lot of sense. It really brings it all together. So here's something to think about as we finish. Considering these advanced capabilities we've explored today, from the really detailed audit trails to the real-time monitoring and even full session recording of privileged access, what does this imply for the future of individual accountability within an organization? And maybe more profoundly, how might this level of transparency begin to redefine our whole understanding of the insider threat?